All right, folks. Welcome to Meticulous Talks on Sunday, October 15th. I am Chris Cords, as always.
And I'm solving problems.
And our time into, well, first of all, I hope you all enjoyed your viewings of the MLP movie, however you watched it.
I did it in totally legal ways in the UK when it comes out on the 20th. Shh, I'll see it in cinemas. I just wanted to know what happened in the film for the sakes of stuff like this.
Totally. So, yeah, I said on Reddit this will be a spoiler-free stream because Solving hasn't seen the movie yet, and, well, that might not be true anymore. We'll try to keep it light just in case.
Yeah. Like, to be fair, discussing too much about plot points seems like a bad idea anyway, just in case.
It's not really necessary for what we're doing today anyway.
Yeah. You don't need to know the plot of the film, because it's none of the cards, from what I know, are flavorful to events in the film yet.
Not yet.
Except for, I guess, the whole theme of travelers. But, I mean, it's a film, and it's ponies. Of course, it's going to be an adventure flick.
Yeah. So we have, since spoilers first started dropping, we've had 10 of them up to now. Kind of, I think we've had one in every color, at least.
I can't remember them all, like, precisely, so I wouldn't be able to say.
I'm pretty sure we've had one in every color, a resource, an event, a multicolor, and a main. We've had basically everything except a troublemaker.
Yeah. Then again, they're probably waiting to drop, like, a big, cool troublemaker, like, I don't know, Tempest or whatever her name is in the advert.
Yeah. But, so we're back, I guess, to sort of where we began with Meticulous Talks, just going through the spoilers and giving some impressions.
Spoiler season, yeah.
Yeah. So you want to get to it?
Yeah, let's go.
All right. So as usual, we're going to go chronologically based on which spoilers came out first, which means our first one is the pirate ship. Cost of 1, flip of 5, the ability to pay 1 AT and exhaust it to move a character in your main phase.
Honestly, I love this. This is adorable, just because it's colorless.
I was actually
if it was blue, I'd be like, eh. But the fact that you're like, I'm playing pink orange. Yeah, go on, let's put in pirate ship.
Yeah. That was the thing that actually surprised me most when I first saw this card. It's like, isn't this supposed to be in blue? But no, I guess it's going to be for everybody this time around.
Now, like, when I've seen a lot of other people quickly talk about this card, because I do follow the odd people who talk about cards on my Tumblr, they're like, oh, it's like you sort of give a friend a Swift once per turn. I'm like, well, no. You're actually moving them, so it gets around like showy and everything, which is actually pretty important.
Yeah, that is actually one of the important things to make note of. Showy is less of a thing at the moment, but if it ever does.
No, but for me, it's like, oh my gosh, there's a reason this is uncommon rather than common. Because getting multiples of this in limited is going to be hilariously annoying for your opponent.
Well, yeah. Even at uncommon, well, yeah, expect there to be maybe 3 or so in the deck if a guy's lucky.
Like,
but
if you're lucky, you get 2 and you're like, man, now I'll actually kind of draw it most games. And it's like, oh no, he's going to have pirate ship most games. Oh, which is just good value, because you've paid 2 action tokens to move a friend. Congratulations, you did a normal game action. From then on, it's value.
Yep.
Like,
and
there's not much else to say about it.
Well, one interesting point is that it is pay 1 and exhaust this card to move a character, and as a 1 cost no requirement resource, it is an excellent synergy with mod.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Didn't think of that. Mainly because I haven't seen mod being played in a while.
Yeah, it's not. It's a bit of a.
She's not very common anymore, which is a shame, but it's a cool interaction.
Yeah. So, in any event, the card kind of leads into the spoiler that came immediately after it. The card that goes with it.
Oh, hey, look, it's blue.
Yeah, it's blue. we actually spent half an episode saying we want new tribal in this set. Well, look, we have
Pirate is a type.
Pirates, yes.
Also, it took me so long to realize the joke is that they're pirates and parrots. Pirates, parrot.
Oh, yeah, right.
And I was just like, wow, that's an incredibly kind of subtle pun, but it's also terrible.
Yeah. So, MOP joins like every other CCG under the sun with pirates.
To be fair, Magic literally did it like 2 months ago now, or is it less than 2 months ago? I don't know. When did I do that pre-release?
It was like the most recent set, so yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it was literally. Then again, they also did dinosaurs, and there's none of that in here. Shame.
Not yet.
MLP movie 2, dinosaurs, just cuz.
But anyway,
we haven't actually talked about the card itself.
No, we
a
haven't
4
at
for
all.
4 with full requirement in blue, competitive 2, and other pirates have competitive 2. You also pay 1 less to activate your pirate ship. aka you pay 0.
Oh, by the way,
now the thing that
welcome,
I'm like
Bugle, to
kind
the
of
chat.
Oh, hello. The sea ponies are merfolk, but they're also technically that's spoilers.
Yeah, we're
I'm
gonna
not gonna-
kind of play it by ear, I think, this whole stream. But yeah.
But yeah, like there's no vampires though.
No vampires, that's true.
No vampires.
But anyway. Yeah, so we've got clearly our leader of the pirates, of the pirate tribe here in blue.
The pirate lord, so to speak.
Yes. And so clearly how good this card is going to depend a lot on what kind of other pirates we get in set.
Yes.
And whether a pirate deck actually becomes a thing.
It'll definitely be a thing in Limited, and if your opponent somehow pulls 2 of this and plays them both, you just lose face-offs forever.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
Because every single pirate has competitive 4. You're just like, all right, if they have 2 pirates involved, they have +8. Other than that, it's like, cool. If you pull this rare and this uncommon, they synergize. Although obviously that part of the effect feels like maybe it can be used in constructed because you then get free movement.
Totally.
I did say somehow get 2 of this. Bugle, come on. Listen. I don't know. I'm feeling sassy for no reason. But yeah, like I think this card design, like the card as a whole, very nice design. I'm glad they didn't have your pirates have competitive 2 written on it, because that's a very awkward place to step. Where it's like, so this has competitive 2 and the other ones, and it's like, yes, because that's what the words say. But it's much simpler to be like, this card has competitive 2. Also, your other pirates have competitive 2. So good card design of making it easy to understand, which I think is the entire point with the new set, isn't it?
Pretty much, yeah.
So it's good to see.
Yeah. So based on this card, like, well, clearly we get the sense that pirates are going to be an aggressive deck, because that's what competitive 2 is kind of all about. You want to be starting face-offs.
Well, I don't know. Competitive's also not that bad of a mid-range feel keyword, because it's like, cool, once I get to sort of when I've gone off, I'm going to win these face-offs because I have competitive.
That's a good point.
Like, it's just not a control keyword. It's just not control.
I suppose that's a better way to say
Unless it's on a troublemaker for some reason, because they want it to flip for less. I don't know.
Yeah. But it's actually competitive on Troublemaker would be kind of interesting. But anyway, I guess it really depends what kind of other pirates we see, because Captain Solano could fit in like a sort of style where you drop a bunch of cheap stuff and then she's the finisher where she comes down and all of a sudden your board's ridiculous and that's how you win the game.
You're like, okay, cool. To finish off and make it so I double face off this turn, I'm going to play this thing that gives all these small things competitive 2. Do I win the face-off? Although I do like a fun way of reading this card. Your other pirates now can be hit by food fight during face-offs.
That's a good point. That is a good point.
That's just like how I read competitive 2 now. Just because because as soon as Food Fight was printed out, people were like, oh, it doesn't hit Night Glider initially, and I went, guys, face-offs exist. She has competitive 2. Bonk. So it's just sort of become how I read competitive 2 is it can now definitely be hit by Food Fight because you're not really going to be playing something with 0 power.
Totally.
Or at least it's not going to be getting involved in a face-off. In all honesty.
So yeah.
But yeah, like it's definitely going to be nasty and limited even if you get like just 2, like, you know, consistently you think you're going to draw 2 other pirates in a game, this being a 4/4 with competitive 2 that might buff your uncommon. You know, that'll buff your uncommon if you've got it, and gives other cards in your deck competitive 2. Like, totally solid.
Totally.
In terms of constructed, it's obviously is there more pirates? Are they good? Do they suck? Who knows? Let's see.
Yeah. Well, we have one of them coming up, which is in another color, unfortunately. But yeah, we'll see. The only other thing I just like to note before we move on is that now you can't just say I'm playing the captain and people will assume you're talking about AJ. There's some ambiguity.
I like it. I didn't think of that. Best thing to do: play blue-orange. Have both. I drew the captain. Oh, come on. Also, does Captain Applejack then are they going to errata to have pirate as a? So
trait? There was discussion about that, but I don't believe they are.
She has Captain of the Seven Seas as part of her title, though. Like, come on, how'd you get more piratey than that? I know they won't, but I wish.
It will be a point of contention. A mistake that was made. Alrighty. So.
All right.
Moving on to our introduction to the Traveler keyword. Party Mare, living it up. As a 1 power pink, 1 cost, 2 requirement.
It's Captain of the Seven Seas. Please read the whole name. Captain of the Seven Seas. That's definitely some kind of pirate. You don't get that by being a trades captain. You only go between specific seas.
Good point.
But yes, I really, really, really like this card.
Really?
Yes.
Well, do elaborate.
At the end of the day, at worst, it reads, at the start of your turn, put a +1 power counter on it, then you need to pay 2 to put it where you actually want it. Or play an event to put it actually where you want it. At best, it reads, put a +1 power counter on this card, and you don't need to move it.
I suppose.
Because it's specifically a random problem. I guess that sometimes it won't put a +1 power counter on it because it'll try to move to where it already is and then it doesn't do anything. But
yeah, see, I don't know.
It's like it's similar to the flurry where it's like I just like it because the sort of inherent value you can just kind of get off it is very simple and easy. And honestly, in limited, I can see this thing getting up to like being 4 power that you paid 1 action token to play. And like, why would you ever complain about that?
Yeah.
The low requirement is what makes me like it. If it was like 4, I'd be like, ugh. But the fact it's 2 is like,
It's kind of tough because I was thinking about this a couple nights ago. So when there's 2 problems in play, it's expected it'll take 2 turns to get 1 counter, right?
No, because in lots of cases it'll start at home, so you get a counter like that.
Okay, yeah,
you
could play it to home first.
Well, I'm not saying playing it to home. I'm more thinking that you play it, do a double face off, and then it's to home.
Well,
and you're like, okay, cool.
All right, that's fine too. Even so, I
don't feel like you play this as a just sort of, oh man, I'm just going to confront. I feel like this is a play face off. It's at home. All right, let's get this started. Just inherently. And that's, I mean, there's a lot of aggressive stuff, and it's pink, and it costs 1. If it's pink and it costs 1, it's probably got a chance of being run, honestly.
Actually, that's a good point. I just don't like the idea of having to play around my own card, really.
I don't feel like you need to. You just need to know that it exists, because at the end of the day, if it moves to the wrong problem, if you were going to move it anyway, because it would, like, if it's a card that wouldn't have moved, and you'd move it there anyway, what's the foul in it moving to the wrong problem? There is like hardly ever anything wrong with it moving to the quote unquote incorrect problem in the. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I don't know. There are probably situations where, like, if I was planning for the colors to line up just so for me to confront this problem over here, or I needed a particular number of friends because the problem's like cheering after friends or whatever. It's
the simple issue with the card, I'd say, is don't ever try to confront a troublemaker with this card. It's not going to work.
Yeah.
Every time you go, okay, I'll put this here and hope it stays there. No, it won't. If you're hoping for it to do something, no. You just need to be like, if this just does stuff and I can work with it, if this just sort of gets bigger, moves about, and I can work with it, fine. And that's sort of how you need to look at the card for me, and that's why I like it a lot, because it's just sort of, okay, now that I've played this, it just sort of does whatever it does, and I'll just play with it. It's fine.
Yeah. I do agree, by the way, that it's a beautifully flavorful card. The idea of this friend that just sort of careens around, and you make what good of it you can, really.
I like the idea that because she's wearing a hat, in my mind, she just sort of picks something up from everywhere she goes and sort of just gets better at helping out because it's like, oh, dude, I needed that. Or something, and that's why she gets better at confronting problems.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. My first impression of this card, I'll admit, was actually pretty negative. I just sort of...
So was mine, but then I thought about it and I was like, wait, but like she just gets bigger. And at the end of the day, if you were going to put her somewhere to do a confront, you could just still pay the 2 action tokens.
It is true.
It's like, even if she went to the wrong place.
Yeah.
It's just like, so she's bad at confronting troublemakers, and she's bad at sort of long-term confronting. But like, in terms of constructed, I mean, blue-pink right now does not long-term confront.
That's good. That's a good
so
point.
You don't care about that. And in terms of limited, the value you get from this just sort of getting bigger for free, you don't really mind too much, I wouldn't think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Also, like, the thing that I noticed when I first saw the cards, this is actually a counter to Flurry Heart from your opponent, because you just get a free move, which is gonna...
It's random already.
Yeah, it's already random.
So wait, so do you choose where this is going randomly and then change from the random choice then to Flurry's random choice? I am not a judge. I can't be asked. I'm not even going to jump down the rabbit hole.
I asked that question.
What happens?
In another stream. And yes, that's how it happens.
So pointless. You choose something randomly twice. Except I guess Flurry could tell it to go home, whereas this card doesn't. So there we go.
Yeah, and yes, because Flurry grabbed it, it doesn't get a counter on it.
Unless you control Flurry.
Yes. Yes, unless it's your Flurry that did it.
Which is one of the things I thought of when I read this card, is if you play this with Flurry, you're already moving randomly at the start of a turn, so you don't care about Flurry's claws. Which is actually kind of cute, because it also then disrupts your opponent still.
Kind of. Well,
you don't
has
kind
a
of
less restrictive move. She could attempt to move into the opponent's home, and then it just fizzles, right?
Yeah, but I mean, if the biggest downside is you didn't get something that was free, I'm not going to complain too much.
That's a fair point.
Like, oh no, my investment of nothing came out with nothing. If that's the biggest downside, I'm not too bothered.
So yeah, we'll see. Maybe with some additional thoughts, will keep on growing on me. But yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, I still think it has a lot of potential to be good.
Yeah.
But yeah, very, very silly, very fun card. Looking forward to playing with it, just in general.
Mm-hmm. All right. Something of a surprise card. Brian. One yellow.
One swell guy.
Yes. 1 yellow power, 1 cost. Same requirement spot as Party Mare from before. With
you see, I love the flavor of this card, except for one thing. how does a balloon dismiss a resource? If this balloon somehow blew up the airship that landed, then I'd be fine with it, but it didn't. Balloon, how does it destroy a resource?
That is a good image in my mind right there.
That's like the ending of the movie. Spoilers is that Brian reinflates and punches the airship out of the sky, and that's why it can do that now.
So yeah, we have this rather interesting little card here, with this text: if another one of your friends would be dismissed, banished, or moved, you get to retire this card instead. So it's essentially like a global bodyguard kind of card, with that extra lemon hearts. Well, actually, lemon hearts is immediate, I think. But anyway, main phase, dismiss a resource.
It's very similar.
Yeah. So all of these sort of cards that, and I feel like yellow has a few of them that, like, man, if this card can just stay in play and I can actually get some value from it, it'll be pretty good. Suddenly we have an ability to get more of it, or at least protect them better.
Yeah. It's sort of inherent. You can just kind of get this card. If you see this card, you get it if you want it. It's actually pretty good. And I think a lot of people will doubt that. I feel like there'll be a lot of moments in sort of limited where they'll be like, okay, I want to see the flips, and then I'll decide if I want to, play my piece of removal to get rid of this or do this. And then it's just Brian. They're like, oh, no. Now I can't.
It's
also, I love the fact it's got the wrong set symbol.
Oh.
It's so good. The spoiler has the wrong set symbol. Very funny. Considering it's Brian. It's just an inflatable thing and they got something wrong on it.
That's true. Yeah, one imagines that will be fixed for the printing.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yes.
Also, to answer your question, Lunatic, a flower can destroy a resource over an incredibly long amount of time as it grows within it and slowly destroys it from the inside. I don't know. There you go. That's my explanation.
Yeah. So it's true. You make a good point about the chaos effect. How that's going to enter play after flips, and then the
because I know I for sure wait until after a flip until I start playing my cards most of the time.
Now it's
like I'm always like, okay, I want to know what's going on, and then I'll make decisions. And Brian sort of takes that mentality and goes, but if they flip Brian, I can't do X.
Yeah, it's worth noting.
And especially, obviously, in the limited, it'll be where you think that the most. But if Brian becomes a card that gets played a lot, you then have to start thinking that forever.
Yeah. Now it's worth noting there are two special particular effects that Brian does not protect against that happen a fair amount at immediate speed. That being Frighten, the major one, and also remove from play in some manner other than banishing, moving, and retiring, a la Napcase.
Which is put on top of deck.
Basically, yeah.
Or return to hand. But I mean, why would a yellow card stop yellow stuff? Go.
Oh yes, or return to hand, of course. So I think of those three, Napcase and Frighten are the two major ones that you need to consider. Of course, it would be ridiculous if this card protected against everything.
To be fair, if it was like if another one of your friends would leave play, be moved, you may retire this card instead. Like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow. If it's just if this card would what's the keyword? Oh yeah, this card is persist, but you get rid of this instead. Also moved.
Oh.
All right.
Yeah. No.
Okay. Why is yellow allowed this persist type card? That's not a yellow thing. But hey, for dismissed, banished, or moved, it's a cute little look. It's a decoy type feel.
Yeah.
Because it's a balloon.
Now, I know that. Since Bugle's here, he's going to point it out if we don't talk about it.
Is it?
Doesn't Furball have persistent? Oh wait, no, yeah, we're talking about yellow does have persistent. Yeah, okay, sorry. I
oh gosh, yeah, that's.
There are orange cards with persistent too, though. I'm pretty sure.
It feels a lot more orange to me than it does yellow. I completely forgot because like nobody runs persist cards.
Anyway, um,
Fair enough. I was very wrong because I cannot remember what has persist. The only card I remember is the Granny Smith that I run because it reads, instead of this card leaving play, banish a card from your discard.
So anyway, yeah, like I said, Bugle was the first guy to suggest that this card is going to resurrect Zipperwill. Because
that's logical.
Yeah,
you flip it and you go, cool, I can move with him.
It is a critter itself.
It also protects Zipperwill, and wow, yeah, it does a lot.
It does do quite a lot for that deck. And yeah, it's true that Zipperwill kind of fell away essentially because removal became such a big thing in the meta right now. Primarily, belly flop being in bloody everything.
It's just because it's the best card ever.
So yeah, that's certainly something that remains to be seen. How many other tools that deck gets? And, it's worth pointing out because it's true. This card does slot in there pretty much perfectly. Okay. Would you like to move on?
Yeah.
All right.
What is next? Ah, yeah, here he is.
Yes, the other pirate we were talking about before. So we have Boil, power up. We're looking at 2 orange power, 2 cost, 3 requirement. Card enters play with a number of +1 power counters on it, equal to the number of +1 power counters on something else. So one assumes in a constructed deck where you're running this, that's going to be quite a lot of +1 power counters.
Like at least 2.
At least 2, I'd say, yes.
In the worst scenario, it's going to be at least 2.
Yeah, I mean it's incredibly easy to
in
get
the
2.
best scenario, it's like 15.
Yeah, like you play what's his face Snails from last set, where you cost 2, you discard 2 cards, and he gets 2 power counters on him, and then boom, yeah.
And then just play this guy, and it's like, oh hey, look, I paid a 2 for 4 that I don't need to discard.
Yeah, and so
I mean, that worst case scenario is when you're not running the AJ main and you've never won a face off, which is highly unlikely.
Yeah, and so. Once again, this is like a singleton effect. We'll see if we get more stuff to this work. But this is the kind of card that, as you point out, might be able to work with AJ as a sort of aggressive sort of or mid-range sort of style, as opposed to farming as always.
Yeah, it feels really neat. My only issue with it is it has nothing to do with competitive 2.
That is true. That is true.
And that's the bit that makes me a little sad. It's like, oh, it's like we have 2 cards, and they don't like this card having competitive 2 doesn't add a ridiculous amount to it. It's not like because this has competitive 2, it now does this really cool thing. It's like, oh, wait, it doesn't do anything in particular. But I feel like Blue-Orange Pirates is probably the best fit.
It's true. Blue-Orange would benefit a lot from the reduced movement speed from the pirate ship. You've got a lot of huge friends in there that would really appreciate. I
also like the idea of pirates being in the colors where you just sort of throw away cards to make it so it's easier to do other things. Because it's just like, throw that off the ship. We need to get there faster.
Yeah.
Sort of being a stereotypical pirate thing.
It's also true, actually, now that I think about it. Pirate ship says you pay 1 to like... Oh, right, you pay 1 to move something, right?
Yeah, move a friend. Or character.
Right.
I don't remember which.
So, okay, that doesn't... Okay, no, that's nothing then. I was thinking
Also,
of Swift and stuff.
Just a side note, because we've had cards with Traveler on, Pirate Ship Traveler being like a bit of synergy is super flavorful, and I love it.
It is good, yes. Now, there's actually a card coming up that I think makes this card a lot better, which we'll mention later when we get to it. But, well, I'll just make a note of that. Pay attention for later, because there is a card coming up that I think actually turns this card into something else entirely.
Mhm.
But on its
I
own,
think I know what you're talking about, but let's just keep going.
yeah, on its own, it's a pirate. As you say, it doesn't seem to fit immediately with um, Solano, except of course for the fact that if you can move this thing for free, that's probably going to be excellent for you.
Yeah, if it's big, moving it for 0 is pretty good. It also makes me worry that pirates themselves aren't going to have Swift, so that you're going to kind of need the pirate ship, otherwise the deck's going to be mere.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise you're not going to do that great, but we'll have to see. I just want like a really cool blue pirate with Swift that's got like a really nice effect or something. It'd be
That
nice.
sounds like Pirate Rainbow Dash.
Oh yeah,
I
forgot
assume
about Pirate.
that's probably going to be a thing.
Yeah. Would she be called Captain, or would she be called like Stowaway? I wonder. I don't know.
Well, that remains to be seen. Like I assume there's going to be a main 6 cycle of pirates. That seems like a natural thing.
Because they all dressed up, right?
Yeah.
I can't really remember.
I mean, it's true that scene was.
They all got dressed up in the pirate scene.
Maybe a couple of minutes long, unfortunately, but yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, I think this card has a lot of potential. I'm very interested to sort of mess around with it and see what it can do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll see.
I also feel like this, actually, now that I think about it, this is probably a very good orange-yellow card.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, obviously orange-yellow is a very sort of diligent throw +1 power counters around type color combination, because it's just kind of, it's mainly orange from what I feel anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yellow is being run because you get such amazing multicolor yellow cards.
Yes, like like the ultra rare.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I don't know, I might open the orange yellow deck that I haven't touched in ages and see how it likes a card like this. Probably quite well, honestly.
Yeah, I think so. Alrighty, moving on.
Yeah.
Right. This is Cadence, a white card. Again, 2 power, 2 cost, 2 requirement, the Traveler keyword on again, and the very interesting sort of main phase exhaust this card to take 2+1 power counters off of it and get anything you want out of your discard pile.
Into your hand.
Into your hand, of course. Not into play or anything else.
No. So,
a little, I guess, a sort of white take on the idea behind this. Our card with Traveler that doesn't get free moves, but whatever.
Like, I mean, surely there's got to be cards that can just put power counters on this pseudo-inherently.
So,
just to make your life easier.
So one has been found already. That being the card from last set that nobody talked about because it seemed kind of useless. Trixie's Seaquestria Apology Tour.
Because you may as well run photo finish.
Yeah. Yep.
Cute.
Card that says when your opponent doesn't confront any problems, you get to put 2+1 power counters on stuff. Well, that seems pretty coincidental, doesn't it?
Yes. Cute.
Much better card when it reads when
if you have a cutie pox scare or something in your discard and you make it so your opponent can't do anything every turn, can't complain.
It is a much better card, Apology Tour, when it reads when your opponent doesn't confront a problem, take something out of your discard pile
and put it into your hand.
Yeah.
That certainly makes it good. I feel like if they ban or rotate out somehow good old Mr. One action token to get an event, everybody's favorite, that's definitely something I feel people will try.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, that's, as you say, that's the kind of card where you cycle out, and I don't believe Apology Tour is unique either. So you could certainly have 2 of them out.
I mean, Trixie can do more than one show. Come on.
Yeah. So you can be sort of servicing multiple cadences as you wish. and then yeah, it gets even better for you.
Yeah.
And
Like, as soon as I read this card, I was like, man, oh, I remember his name finally, F-Stop.
F-Stop,
Man,
that's
if
the
they
one.
get rid of F-Stop, this card's really cool.
Yeah.
And like, it also feels pretty ridiculous for limited, as it's a common. Like, yeah, paying 4 action tokens to get something back isn't the most efficient rate, but Traveler on its own is going to be really good. The fact that then it's like, oh man, if you really don't need her power, cool. I'm going to pick up the one piece of removal in my entire deck and put it back in my hand.
True.
Ha!
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, just the ability to get all these cards that you're like, oh man, I wish I just had another copy of blah. Oh wait, I do now. Is 10 out of 10.
That is incredible, yes. And in limited, as you say, we're going to be moving the card on our own a fair amount, probably. Yeah, Traveler just serves to make it work. And honestly, I can see maybe. Well, I don't know if there's a slot for this card in some kind of aggressive white deck, but I mean, getting stuff out of your discard pile, as you point out, is pretty amazing no matter what kind of deck you're running.
I mean, like, I feel like white aggro, I feel like Traveler's just a good keyword for aggro, because so often you're just going to move stuff from home to a problem as long as it's big enough. So if we get just even like a blue friend with 3 power and Traveler, I'm like, I feel like this could see play somewhere.
Totally.
Just because it's like, okay, I'll move it. Cool, it's got 4 power now. Okay, I'm going to play this event that moves it. Okay, it's got 5 power now. And it's like, 5 is big. And all you did was play 2 events that you were going to play anyway.
Yep. So yeah, Cadence, I think we're in agreement that she has if F-Stop goes away somehow, or even perhaps in decks that use him anyway, you run like a singleton copy of this as a backup.
Maybe you run an extra. You're in Cadence as a sort of, I guess, in case. And also, like, the fact that she hits anything and F-Stop only hits events is relevant.
Yeah.
Because if you desperately need your troublemaker again, or you need that resource back, etc., and block in general. Oh yeah, do we know if this is a new block or what? That was a thing I needed to think.
I don't think it's been said, but I think this is a new block.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah,
so it's like, for the new block format, this is probably good. Obviously, we can't say anything about it really, because we have no idea what the format's going to be like when we have 10 cards from the set.
Yeah.
I'm already predicting staples. No.
As you mentioned, this hitting all cards, I did briefly consider putting this in a Sweetie Belle deck and just having like all the resource recursion. I'm sure that would be
hilarious.
Pretty nice, yes. Right. Next up, Spike. 1 power in purple, 1 cost, 2 requirement. A similar cost as we've seen so far, with the Traveler keyword and with this amazing little tempo text. When you move this card, you get to move an opposing character.
I love it. It's so cool.
It is very good.
Like, it is just so nasty. I also like the idea that the thing that people won't think of with this card, but because I've played the Canterlot Knights Twilight main, setting up just really biased face-offs by moving your opponent's friend just so that they confront, and that's it, is just like the most satisfying thing ever. And this card, while being nice and aggressive, good and fast-paced, and getting bigger while doing all these things at once, can also just set up really biased face-offs if you want.
Yeah.
It's just hilarious.
Yeah, this is this is really the kind of card that I think is going to take purple aggro into the mainstream. Like it's
beautiful.
It's
very similar to the Starlight, or whatever her name is, because it was old-fashioned Starlight. Scrooge McDuck, not McDuck. I've been watching DuckTales. Oops.
Hey, that's never a mistake.
I know. The new DuckTales is really good. Go watch it. Blah blah blah. # not sponsored. But yeah, it's very similar to Snowfall Frost, although obviously with the spikes, multiple copies doesn't grow all your spikes. Just each spike grows individually.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas obviously with the Snowfall Frosts, just you play it, you move an opponent's friend. The next one's got 2 power. The next one's got 3 power. Hey, this on the other hand, it's like you play it, do the face off, and then from then on, you've just got sort of this inherent value that you pay 2 to move a 2 power friend, but also you kind of paid 1 to move it because it costs 1 to play back where you began.
Yep. Yep. So it's
you ain't moving this.
Yeah.
You ain't moving this straight away. You're moving this, say, if you've confronted one problem, or if you stored your action tokens because you wanted to react to something your opponent did, and then double face off the next turn or something.
Yeah, it's true. You could actually look at this card as, call it Traveler Swift. When you move this card, play it back where you began. That's pretty good.
I mean, we've come a long way since Spike Baby Dragon.
That is a very good point.
And I mean, this card is please don't play this card during Limited. Please don't play this against me. I will just cry.
It's a common.
Because it's just like, if you get to the point where you can play where you get 4 action tokens a turn, it might be a play in a turn to just be like, move it over here, move it back. It's bigger now. Also, I move those both home, and you're just like, yeah, okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Their spike 2 power bigger every turn and moving the things home. Woo! Like
a 4AT Ursa Vanquisher. Except that
yeah, but you don't return it to hand, and it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And it's common.
And it's common.
Oh. Yeah, I'm surprised this is common for the sake of Limited. Honestly, I feel like it's uncommon for the sake of Limited, and for Constructed, it's a common because it has to stick at it's got a lot of these little conditions that you don't really like. If you play it as a 1-for-1, it doesn't actually do anything. It was a 1-for-1. You have to move it to get anything out of it, and obviously there'll be times where it doesn't get moved, and you're like, crud. I might just dismiss it to home limit, etc. in Constructed. But for Limited, this feels easily like an uncommon because the inherent value of what you can do with it, because obviously removal is tight. And often the removal isn't just dismissed or banished, etc. It's just like, cool, I'll just move this. It's got 2 power now. Send that home. I'll just move this. It's got 3 power now. Send that home. I'll just move this. It's got 4 power now. Send that home. And it's just like, yeah, I'm having fun.
Mm-hmm.
Him with a pirate ship.
Oh boy, yeah, jeez.
But yeah, brutal. Absolutely brutal.
Totally. And yes, yeah, this I think was the first card I saw that I was really, really super impressed with, and like, holy crap, this is going to definitely, well, okay, I don't want to say definitely because who knows what the rest of the set could be, but at the moment, this is definitely going to see play, and possibly.
I feel like it easily could. I don't know if it's a definitely, just because so much of the format is currently just blue-pink or Super Mega Ultra Control 9004.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel like he has a proper deck right now, but if he gets anything to make it so that he can work, or the colors the sort of deck archetype he likes will work, then there we go, he's in it. Like that.
Right. Our surprise main. Well, just last week, I believe. Last week Sunday. About a week ago, really. Our pink main.
I adore this. Mm-hmm. I absolutely adore this. This is, if there is a generic 4 power starting problem in the Limited format, this main is amazing.
Oh, this main is amazing.
Okay, turn 1.
Limited regardless.
Turn 1, I flip my main and confront. Pass. Turn 2, I move my main to the other problem. I have 7 power at both problems on turn 2 in Limited. Every game. How are you?
Yep. Yeah.
It's just, okay, all right. It's the second pink main to read. Pay 2 to turn this card over.
Yeah, that's true. It's true. But yeah,
very like this. This is really good. Just because two action tokens for 4 power that you can put at different problems.
Well, 2 action tokens for 6 power. Really?
Well, yeah, because you flip her, but I mean, sort of immediately at problems, power is 4.
Yeah.
And then obviously you have to move her for another like 2 or maybe something cheaper because you're playing blue or pirate ship or whatever. But yeah, like this card is so good, and I would be like, oh my gosh, it's the best pink main they've ever printed if DJ didn't exist.
Well, if DJ didn't exist, I think it would be the best pink main that ever been printed.
All the other ones are terrible. Well, not terrible, just not very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just so easy to flip. Also, why is it like that pink mains that are just easy to flip, I always still consider that will get used, except for one. Poor old latest Pinky.
Yeah, we've spent enough time on her, I think. New set, we can stop ragging on Pinky.
But yeah, it's just like, wow, a good pink main. I'm happy.
Yeah.
It's just good. This is the awkward moment where it gets outshined by every other main.
We'll see.
Somehow.
I agree with you that the main's ridiculous in limited. As far as constructed goes, I'm a little cautious on it, honestly. Like it's true that's an amazing.
No, it's still powerful, and I feel like people will use it, but it's like, what do you put it in? So I feel like you just use other colored mains for aggro, right?
Well, like yeah, it's true. You get like an amazing tempo swing when you flip the card over, right?
And then you get nothing. That's the issue.
It's true. That's the thing. You get not really much of anything afterwards. Like in against a control deck, say for example, this main's not really going to get you much of anything. It'll get you your confronts early, of course, but not like you really want some value later on in the game.
I feel like with this card though, if you know you're playing against control, you hold the flip
for the breakthrough, right?
Yeah, for it's like, oh, they're locking me down with this, and oh wait, I'll pay 2, flip my main, boom, it's fine.
Yeah, I suppose.
And you leave it until you need it against control. Is how I would always look at the ability myself.
Actually,
because just trying to be aggressive, you may as well just try to be aggressive out your hand instead. Against control.
It's true, that is a good point. That for mains like this one, where you have the one-shot ability and not nothing on the boosted side, they do work a little differently than normal mains, where you want to flip them over as soon as possible to get your value. And yeah, you could just sort of hold off and then say, this is the perfect time for my seashells. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see. But just to conclude, as we say, primo card in limited. It's
oh my gosh. Am I playing pink in limited then? Because I don't know what other mains can do to be like in limited. La 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 la. Value. Quite as much as this feels like.
Right. So now we're getting into relatively recent stuff from this past week. Pony Power, such an unfortunate, it's kind of an unfortunate name, I think, because we've already got lots of cards that use the same words.
Yeah.
But whatever. Flips for 5.
Again, it's not like it's the best. It's not like it's that great.
It's true. Cost of 2, 3 blue requirement. Chaos ability. I think I've seen this chaos ability before on something. Or at least it's
very similar to a purple card that when it's flipped, I think it gets +1 power for each of your characters involved in the face-off or something.
Right.
Remember.
And then you got your main phase, asynchronous challenge. So this has been on a True Friend. This has been on a Change That Can Change, I think. And with the additional +1 power till the end of the face-off in it. So blending a couple of cards together. Or rather, a couple of pieces of cards together, kind of. Yeah, it does have its purpose. The question is if there's anything better that Ah, yes, you're right. For Equestria, that's the card.
For Equestria, that's the one.
Yes.
I just forgot its name.
Yeah.
But yes.
So yeah,
This.
Go ahead.
I'd say the restriction on this card is the fact that unlike a Changeling can change, with a Changeling can change, you lose the power boost, but you gain 2 other options.
Yeah.
Like completely entire different choices.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which is ridiculous. Like that's so much better than the little sort of power buff you get, which will be in most cases +3, maybe 4, unless you're Spitfired. Specifically to do pony power with it.
Yeah. If there is anything we've seen, it's that generally when you have events that do a thing and then you have songs that do something similar with a bunch of other stuff, the song tends to win in terms of being put in decks. So.
Fair enough, Bugle. Fair enough. I still think Changeling can change is just nicer on versatility.
Yeah, I mean, well, so this does give you a little bit more reach if you're trying to get through your Troublemaker. I suppose, like, the assumption is with a card like Changeling can change or whatever, is that, you're playing your stuff during the main phase, and you're assuming, okay, now I've got a shot at it, and now I'll go. Versus this kind of card, which, like I said, gives you a little bit more reach. It gives you a little bit more ability to say, well, I think I could actually maybe win this face-off. Now, as sort of you said a little bit earlier on Captain Solano, this card potentially makes you a little bit more vulnerable to certain types of removal. Notably makes you less vulnerable to Napcakes most of the time, probably.
Well, the Napcakes is immediate, so if they think you've got something like this to happen, they can just be like...
It's true, yeah. It turns into kind of the usual sort of trade-off of I'm going to play this during our main phase, and then the opponent has that choice to play their Napcakes whenever they want to.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Good points.
Okay, yeah.
I wonder who's actually behind that. Whatever. Anyway, because Bugle's typing under his own pseudonym, so we have another viewer who I appreciate. Ah, I see. Excellent. Thank you.
Waves. Hello.
So
yeah, I'm still not the biggest fan of it myself. I feel like if I feel like it might fit in a deck, I'd still just put Changeling can change in anyway. Well, that's just me.
Yeah,
some people could be different.
Yeah, there's probably going to be space for experimentation, and we'll see which one wins out in the end. Or if I was going to say, or if blue aggro is even a thing, but when has blue aggro ever not been a thing?
Even if it's terrible, someone will manage to get it to a top 8. You know they will.
Mm-hmm. Right. So.
Not much else to say about it, really.
I think so. So, here we have the card that I was talking about earlier. The one that I think really, really, really makes... Okay, Bugle, you make a good point. The card that I think, I saw this and I saw Boyle. It's like, oh, awesome. Applejack and Fluttershy are multicolor, 1 orange, 1 yellow, with the cost and the requirement, 1 cost. When a problem is solved, if 1 or more of your friends with 2 or less printed power would be sent home, they aren't sent home instead. This is an amazing card.
Honestly, when I first read it, I was like, Yeah, and then I realized you don't even need it to be anywhere.
Yep.
You don't care where this is. It's just, hey, you solved the problem. Congratulations. And I was like,
Yeah, it's the kind of card where you read it first, you're like, and you've sort of been conditioned to think of, oh, that's not so great. Oh wait, there's no location base. Oh wait, it works on multiple friends at the same time. Oh my goodness, that's actually ridiculous.
They printed a really good card.
And it's in like the perfect colors for it. As as I mentioned earlier, that card Boyle is 2
Yes.
printed power, is almost always going to have a lot more power than that, and you've got cards like
This feels like an hilariously thoraxy card.
that's the other way to take it
because you're just like, friends! By the way, this thing has a printed power of 0, but currently has 800.
Yep. Yeah.
Stays there.
That's the other way to take it. In yellow, all your tokens stay because they're sitting at 1, and your animal allies, and your Flutter Holly. Well, Flutter Holly's a bad card in that.
Flutter Holly's bad in the deck, and that's why it makes me cry at the same time.
But but your Changeling Citizens and your animal allies, etc.
Yes.
Are
because obviously in this deck you swap out what could be a Flutter Holly slot for animal allies and changelings instead.
Yeah.
Because they're just kind of better because everything's sticking where it needs to be.
And the other excellent thing about this card for that kind of deck is that it's another card which does a similar thing to what the tokens don't count at home limit Zipperwell was doing. Like that deck suffered a little bit because you needed to have Zipperwell to make sure your tokens stuck around. And now you have this other card which does the same thing, and that gives you more reliability, and that's awesome.
Now you can kind of have 3 things that means your critters never add to home limit.
Yeah. Now, worth pointing out that this only activates when problems are solved. If things like if a problem got replaced by a Snips and Snails, or if something else happens which is sending all your friends home, true, this won't trigger. But
in a lot of cases, it'll do its job.
Yeah. And so this is the kind of card that I feel like could maybe spawn a new archetype. I'm not sure if it's going to be big orange or big yellow, but something along those lines where you play a bunch of cards which have low printed power but much more actual power most of the time, whether that be through +1 power counters or stuff like Changeling Citizens, and then you just wreck with it because my friends never go home. Awesome.
I'd love for them to print like just as like for the limited at least, like at common, a 3-for-1 with Diligent 4. And it's just like, I want to face off. Here we go. Just like for this card, it would be hilarious to me. Also, it would work really well with the other pirate. Admittedly, you need to win 1 face off with this card, and he's a 2 for 6.
So, well, as I said, I think this card is the first really, really ridiculous card that the set has given us. True, Spike is pretty awesome, but I think this card is the first really, really ridiculous one.
Or that also works. This card has Diligent X ranks as the number of your other characters here. That would be hilarious.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah, this card, like, oh my gosh, it has so much potential. I hope Orange Yellow as an archetype is really good at using this card in Limited. Because I wouldn't want to be, I got the Orange Yellow uncommon and it's useless. Because that would be so sad, because this card is really good.
Yeah. And as you say as well, sorry to go back to Constructed, we were talking about Limited, but Orange Yellow, you were mentioning it earlier, has all of these cards that have been really amazing,
cool.
And everyone knows they're really amazing, but there hasn't been an archetype for it. And so,
oh my god, I didn't even think of that. Bats plus Catajack is hilarious.
It's true. That is true.
That is very
funny.
Thought
of that right now. It's an excellent point. And yes,
and like the icing on top of the cake is 1-1-1.
Yeah, that's such a
so easy,
beautiful spot on the requirement curve. Excellent part. It's true. Boots Protective Big Sis is 3 printed power. Such a shame. We don't want this card to get banned, Bugle. So.
To be fair, with all the power you're letting stay there, paying 2 to move your Protective Big Sis isn't the worst, right?
Yeah.
Right? But yeah, I think the biggest revelation for me with this card is when a problem is solved. The fact that it doesn't have to be you.
Yeah, it to a degree, that actually kind of takes us back to the old ways where your opponent actually has to think, it's like, now, do I actually want to solve this face-off? do I actually want to start this face-off because
If
None
I
of
start
my-
this face-off, they can just solve this problem and probably end up solving that one. Great.
you know, actually, what I'd really like to do with this card is somehow use this card to confront a Fire When Ready when like all of my stuff just stays there and Fire When Ready comes up. It's technically possible, I assume. I need a lot of stuff with that problem, but it could happen.
Oh my gosh. You are dreaming high, or you just need a Pegasus, a unicorn, an earth pony, and a banner nobody plays.
Yes. So, GP, what I mean is like, yeah, someone solves a problem, everything stays there, Fire When Ready comes up, and since I've got 5 of every color there already somehow, and yeah, there you go, just confront it. But anyway,
Like you can in theory, like, because obviously the CMC have always had really low power.
Mhm.
If you just run like the CMC, put them to a problem and just hope that it flips. If you have the banner ready, it's like woo.
well, if you're in pink, you don't necessarily have to hope. You can make it work.
Yeah, good old. They need to print like a really good problem manipulation card. I want it to be a thing. Like, it's a cool concept, but they haven't ever really printed one that's like people have used properly.
It's true. Yeah, actually, you're right. This card only affects friends. So, such a shame.
Well, I more meant like just the CMC themselves, like the cards with the CMC on.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Friends with CMC on
It's
are
true.
always low power, and that's
isn't-
your guaranteed way to get a Pegasus, an Earth Pony, and a Unicorn.
Yeah,
Because they are.
There are quite a few of those now, actually. Well, I mean, that and several other cards that have all the traits. There are a couple of them now, I think.
And there's a lot of like there's the Rainbow and Fluttershy in blue yellow. Say, oh, I know they're both Pegasus. Doesn't work. I'm trying to think. There's got to be random combinations of just two people together that are both races, like that are 2 races.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But anyway, we're not here to talk about how this card can combo with Fire When Ready, Cutie,
Right. Yeah. Anyway.
Q-Mark, Banner, or whatever. Oh, ugh. Good card, 10 out of 10. I can't wait to play with it.
Totally.
Seems good.
Yeah.
And it's adorable. Just look at how cute
it is. And it's actually now that I know you're here and you've seen the movie, great. I can actually say it. I think it's amazing that Fluttershy and Applejack got compensated with this amazing card for how they were treated in the film.
Oh.
Sorry, but yeah.
Oh well.
So yeah, that does bring us to the end of the spoilers we've had so far, at least as of last night. I didn't check this morning when I got up, but I generally Rob avoids dropping spoilers over the course of the weekend unless there's a stream going on, and he hasn't shown up in this one yet, so unfortunate that.
Oh.
But yeah, that kind of brings us to our post streamer talking place. Our next stream, of course, is going to be 2 weeks from now, as always. One assumes
Hopefully there'll be more spoilers.
One assumes there will be more spoilers to talk about. Perhaps a pre-release date to sort of bandy about. As my own point to make out it, yeah, our VODs are going to go up to YouTube. I'm going to be probably tweeting out the link and putting a link to it on my Tumblr blog as well. But yeah, if there's nothing else you have to say, Solomon.
Not that I can think of.
Rightio. So I suppose that will bring an end to the stream then. I'd like to thank you all for showing up and watching. I've been Cursed Courts.
I've been solving problems.
And we'll see you all in 2 weeks' time.
See you in a fortnight.